Okay, so the next section, the third part, again, you do part A. Now watch it, work it, follow along, then do part B when we're done with part A. If you don't do the video and I see it blank, I'm not going to accept your paper. And then you can go on to part C only after I have checked part B and make sure that you're doing it right, which you only do after you watch the video for part A. Now, these are more difficult scientific notation questions. And this one talks about a container of water, and it has 2 times 10 to the 17th molecules of water, and it's going to be divided, key word there, into 8 times 10 to the 4th smaller containers. Since it's being divided, I need to divide by the smaller containers. So it's 2 times 10 to the 17th divided by 8 times 10 to the 4th. Now, one part of this almost every student got right, and that is they knew to subtract exponents. They got 10 to the 13th. The part that gave a little bit of a hard time here was this part. And I remember warning you before the test. I tell you what kids did in the past. It seems every year some of the kids, I think they look to make it easier. And what they're saying is, oh, 8 divided by 2 is 4. And it is a true statement that 8 divided by 2 is 4. However, if I want to write 8 divided by 2, that's how I do it. Is that what this says? No. This says 2 divided by 8. So you have to come over here and build a gazenta house. Divide the 8 into, doesn't go into 2, but it goes into 20 twice. That's 16. Bring down the 4 and the 0, and it goes into 45 times. And now I'm done. So it's actually 0.25 times 10 to the 13th. But there's a problem with that. Again, 0.25 is not between 1 and 10. So I have to multiply by 10 there. I'll even use a dot, that's better. And then I have to divide by 10 here. So this becomes 2.5 times 10 to the, I'm dividing, so I have to subtract exponents, 12. 2.5 times 10 to the 12th is the correct answer. Any question about that? If there is, then go back, watch that part of the video over again. Remember, the big deal here, the biggest thing I see wrong is right here. I see kids think it's 8 divided by 2 is 4, and it's not. It's 2 divided by 8, which is the work we just showed there. Okay, now the next one is a very true. A lot of times kids say, how does this affect me? What will this have to do with my life? Well, here is a great example of real life math in action. All right, what we're talking about here is national debt. And when we talk about national debt, we're getting into some very, very, very big numbers. And when we get into very big numbers, we use scientific notation. And unfortunately, it's a fact that right now, all you young people, because of the debt of the government and the interest that we have to pay on the debt, every young person in the country is going to pay back $40,000 to $50,000 because of this money borrowed. That's money that could be in your pocket, but because our government is so irresponsible, they figure, what the heck, they'll just take it from you. 2 last presidents have been awful with this. Under President Obama, the United States has created more debt than under all the presidents before him combined. President Bush also created an enormous amount of debt. Obama created $6.3 trillion in debt. Now, I want you to know there are 3 different problems here. One of them has the actual numbers. The other ones I changed slightly just so that you could have similar questions. So this might be a little bit off, but the gist of it is accurate. Bush created $5.4 trillion in debt. How much debt did Bush and Obama create in total? Express your answer in scientific notation. Now, here's the deal. If I said to you that there are 2 people, Bob and Bill. If Bob creates $10 in debt and Bill creates $5 in debt, how much debt was created altogether? You would add them. You'd say $15 in debt. So I need to add Bush and Obama's amounts of debt. But the thing of it is that when we do adding and subtracting with scientific notation, we want to write the numbers out as standard numerals. So in Obama's case, we want to do 6.3 trillion. So that's hundreds, that's thousands, that's millions, that's billions, and we're now into trillions. And how many trillions did we say here? $6.3 trillion in debt. So, let's see here. There we go, 6 and 3. So that's the amount of debt that Obama has created. Now Bush has done 5.4. which is almost as much, another ridiculous amount of money, where people are very irresponsible about spending the money of hardworking Americans. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. We're just adding here. It doesn't get any easier than this, which is the great advantage. 7, and then this is 11. And now I have to convert back to scientific notation. So how many places am I going to move it? Let's change colors here so we don't lose track of what's going on. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. So that's 1.17 times 10 to the 13th power. And that's when I convert it back into scientific notation. Boy, that's a lot, as John Davidson would say, that's a lot of fish nagels, a lot of money. Who created more debt, Obama or Bush? Obama. How much more? Well, now I have to subtract them. So I'm going to do the same numbers, but I'm going to subtract. And when I subtract, I get zeros again, which is nice. That's why the problem's not so hard after all. Now, borrow 9 and 0. So this becomes 9 times 10 to the 3, 6, 9, 10. Right, you're going to see it. Yep, 9. 11. 9 times 10 to the 11. Okay? All right, so there are the two harder problems that have to do with scientific notation. Remember, follow along part A. We just did it. Make sure you copy it down. Do part B on your own. Only when you are done with part B, you show it to me. I check it. Can you proceed to part C? Don't do part C earlier than that.